jumping right in, I am taking the Mented the Skin by Mented stick in M20, and I'm just applying that in even strokes around my face. What I like to do is I like to put the same amount of strokes or whatever on each side of my face just to make it even. And then I cover up my nose area and just make sure that everything is coated. So now what I'm doing is I took a stippling brush and I sprayed it with some Stay Spray by Tarte just to, you know, moisten it a little bit and make the product go into my skin, like sink in deeper to my skin. And then I just go in patting motions around my face and just make sure that everything is really smooth and blended out, because I like to have a skin finish, or just to seem like even though I'm wearing foundation, it doesn't look like I'm wearing foundation. Now make sure that you blend down into your neck, because you don't want it to seem like you're wearing a mask or like your foundation does not match with your chest and your neck. Now once everything is blended and seems to be smooth enough, what I do is I take a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, and I just press the product more into my face. Make sure I get down my neck, make sure I get over my earlobes, just to make sure everything is coated in one tone. Then I'm gonna go in with my Skin by Mented foundation stick in the shade T10. Now this is my highlight shade. So what you're gonna see me do here is just tap my brush into the product, and then I'm going to try to get that model glow type highlight. So what I do is I make a triangular shape on my face, and then you'll see that I will fill in the triangle with concealer. I also make sure to highlight specific highlight points on my face, like my mustache area, my chin, and my forehead. I also conceal down the bridge of my nose, and I put a little dot right on the tip of my nose to make it just brighter. So this is what I was talking about when I mentioned just filling in the area. I don't like to put too much, so I just kind of fill a little bit. I barely put any under my eyes. Now I'm just taking my Fenty Pro Filt'r Concealer in the shade 470. That is my contour shade, and I'm just going to be doing a sort of cream contour with it. So I like to contour my cheekbones, my forehead, and my jawline, just to give me a more sculpted finished look. I also do down the sides of my nose. I like to bring it a little bit inward, kind of in a triangle shape, to give my nose a slimmer look because it is crooked. Now when I get to contouring my cheeks, what you'll see me do is I suck in my cheeks just so that I can see the outline of my face better, so that my contour won't be too high or too low. It'll just be perfect right on my cheekbones. Then I'm just gonna take this really dense Real Techniques brush that I have and tap my contour in. Now what I do for contour is I brush upwards, because if you brush downwards, you're gonna kind of mess up the sculpted shape you gave to your face, and it's just gonna look dark all over your cheeks. So you make sure that you brush up to maintain that sucked in shape, and then I just blend that all out. I blend my forehead as well, and yeah. Now when it comes to blending out the chin contour, what I like to do is bring it down, make sure I get underneath my chin, and just kind of blend downwards down to my neck. Make sure that my jawline looks slimmer and that everything is smooth and seamless. So what I'm going to do now is take another sort of dense eyeshadow brush, and I mainly use it for blending my contour and my concealer. So what I'm doing is I'm just blending the contour up into my eyebrows and then downwards once again in that triangle shape, and just making sure everything is once again smooth. So now we're finally getting to the part I know you guys have probably been wondering about. I'm finally blending my contour, my concealer. Now the reason I wait to blend my concealer is because I learned this tip from Jackie Aina, where you let your concealer sit down, and that way you let it dry down, and that way you get better coverage. And also what you saw me do is I pinched the bridge of my nose, and I learned to do that from Instagram. What it does is just kind of makes your contour stay in place and give you that more sculpted nose look. And when you blend in your concealer, make sure that you stay inside the lines, because if you just blend it all the way down, if you don't blend upwards and you blend downwards under the lines that you drew, it's just going to defeat the purpose of drawing the triangle shape. So now I'm taking the T10 Skin by Mented, once again, the concealer shade, and just going under my nose contour and in my inner corner. The reason that I had left it blank in the prior clips was so that I could do this specifically, which helps me target which areas I'm gonna do, and just be able to put less product but put it in the right spot so that it will still show up and you'll still get a bright look. So once I'm done filling everything out and I'm happy with my coverage, all I'm doing is just taking that eyeshadow brush again and making sure that I blend everything, make it seamless, bring it up onto my eyelids just a tiny bit, just to make it a little bit brighter, and just make sure that everything is smooth. And now that everything is tapped in, I just take my damp beauty blender again and make sure I tap everything in even more. I just want everything to come together and look smooth. Now I'm going in with my Sacha Buttercup powder. When I do my powder, I do not like to bake. I feel like it leaves me looking crunchy, and I don't ever like looking crunchy. But when I do set, I take the little tiniest bit of powder. Literally, you see how little I took, and I still blew the beauty blender off. And I just like to press it into my skin with the damp beauty blender. Make sure that it's getting me that highlighted look without making me look dried out or without making me look crunchy. Now I did press it over into my eyelids a little bit, but that is completely optional. I really didn't even need to do it because I did an eyeshadow look regardless, so that step is really not important. I also like to go underneath my contour with a little bit of setting powder. I should have used a skin toned powder to set under my contour, but as you can see, I just put the Sacha Buttercup and it worked out fine anyway, so it was all good. And then once I've done that, I press a little bit of powder into my other areas that I highlighted, such as my chin, around my mouth, and my forehead. Then I like to take any small brush, it doesn't really matter as long as it's small, dip some into the Sacha Buttercup, very little, I blew it off so many times. And just pat down the bridge of my nose over where I concealed, just so that my highlighted spot will look super sharp and clean. Now I'm going in with the Black Radiance True Complexion contour palette in medium to dark, I believe. And I just took the darkest and the medium shade. I blended them together a little bit, and I used that same small brush to just go over my cream contour a little bit to make it just a little bit darker and more defined. Then I'm just taking my contour brush and going over the spots that I contoured with the medium and the dark shade mixed together once again. Now I'm just taking solely the middle shade and just brushing over where I concealed with that. I don't really know if anyone else does this, but I like to use that as my bronzer and go over the places that I concealed with, just to add color and make everything blend together so there's no lines of demarcation. Then I do something that might seem weird, but I take Got To Be Glued gel and I use that as my eyebrow gel, kind of. Honestly, it seems strange that I'm using hair gel on my eyebrows, but listen, your eyebrows are hair too, and it be giving me that soap brow, like fluffy eyebrow look that I like to have, and literally it makes my eyebrows stay on all day. So I feel like it's just a great product to have, and even though it's unconventional, it works, girl. Now I'm just going in with my Benefit brow pencil. Don't really exactly know the name, but yeah, I'm just filling in my eyebrows. Honestly, when I did this, I was being super lazy. I do not really care about my eyebrows that much, especially for this kind of look. So I just filled them in a little bit. It wasn't really straight or nothing. I was just like, whatever. One thing is that when I do the front, I make sure to stroke upwards to give it hair-like strokes, make it seem more natural and more blended. So once my eyebrows were filled in to my liking, I just took that same T10 and used it to conceal under my brows. Now when I was doing this, it was pretty hard because I'm not used to looking at my phone. I'm used to looking in a super zoomed in mirror, but that's okay. For hopefully for the future, I will have my vanity set up and everything so that I can look at myself in the mirror and record straight on, so it'll be a little easier. But even so, with that being said, I was still being super lazy. I didn't really care how my eyebrows came out, so I was just being really messy with the application. It's gonna get blended out anyways. So once again, I'm going in with that eyeshadow brush that I used to blend everything, and I blend downwards. I drag the concealer downwards onto my eyelid a little bit, and I just make sure that it's really smooth and that there's no harsh lines and that it's not stark that you see the concealer. I just like it to be more blended into my skin and look just a little highlighted. So I did one eye off camera just to make sure I knew what I was doing, but I'm taking T10 again, of course, just applying it to my lid, and I'm just gonna blend it out, blend it up into my eyebrow so that it meets with where I put the underbrow highlight, and everything is smooth. So I took this Maybelline concealer that I had. Not really sure of the shade. I will make sure to put it down below. But I just put it on top of that T10 to make it a little bit more of a wet base. This step was pretty much unnecessary, but because I did it for the first eye, I just wanted to do it on the second eye just to recreate the same look. Then I'm going in with that Juvia's Place palette you saw, using that muted orange color and just applying it all over my lid as my transition shade. And I'm just going to blend that out and tap it, tap, 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 into my lid. Now I'm going in with the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place and using just a nice chocolatey brown color to put over that in my crease. And what I like to do is tap it in pretty hard so that the color will show up really nice and dark. Then I took a makeup wipe and just kind of wiped off the front corner of my shadow because I'm going to be applying concealer to add another color. I took this really old ColourPop concealer I had. I don't know the shade, it got rubbed off, but honestly, any super light concealer you have will work for this. You just need to apply it where you took the shadow off and just blend it in. Now, it was at this point that I realized I messed up because I was supposed to take a darker brown and go over the crease with that to add more dimension, but it's fine. I just took that light tan color you saw me just point to, and I'm applying it everywhere that I just put the concealer. So the key with applying matte shadows and making them have that blown out look is just to tap, tap, tap. Make sure you tap into the eye and let everything kind of mesh together. So then I took that chocolatey brown color that I was supposed to blend in my crease and everything, and I just applied it on the outer corner to blend everything together, make it look seamless. You'll see me constantly going back and forth into all of the colors and just going from eye to eye, making sure that everything is even, and I always apply shadows several times just until I get the color payoff that I want. Taking a really light beige eyeliner pencil from NYX, and I'm just gonna apply it under my eye into my waterline. I started to pull my face down as you saw, but to get the liner in there better, but I realized I did need my hands, and also if I had used my hands, I probably would have made my under eye crease. So I'm glad that I decided not to do that. And I don't know if I'm the only one, but I have to make a super weird face every time I do liner, so just ignore. now I'm just going back into that dark chocolatey brown. I'm gonna apply it under my eye to give it a more smoky look. Yes, and when I am done doing that, you're gonna see that I go into the light tan color that I use for the front of my eye, and I'm just gonna apply it in the inner corner, kind of underneath my eye. I did this thinking it was gonna do something, but it was pretty light, so it didn't really show, but it was still a cute thing to do. Next, I'm just taking this NYX matte eyeliner that I bought. It was super cheap, it was like $5, and I'm just gonna line it. Honestly, I was having problems with my liner too, because once again, doing it in my phone camera just wasn't it for me. But I tried to I didn't wing it out, I just made a line up until the edge of my eye, and I just tried, you're gonna see later, I tried to cover the liner like they be doing in Instagram pictures, the MUAs be doing, stuff like that. So yeah, it didn't really work out for me, but once I covered it with my lashes, you couldn't even tell. So yeah, here's what I was talking about. I tried to cover the liner with the shadow. It was not really working that much. I think it's because the liner is just so matte and so dark black. It didn't really cover it well, but it's okay. It still came out cute. So I applied my lashes off camera because I was not gonna go through that struggle of trying to put them on in my phone camera. And then you're just gonna see I go in with the Anastasia Glow palette, and in the shade Stardust, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it later. But yeah, I just put that in my inner corner and gave it a little bit of a glow or whatever. And I like to press it in with my finger just so that it looks blended and not harsh. So I just am taking a fluffy brush and applying that same shade to my cheekbones. I do it in like a half moon shape, so I go a little bit up towards my eyebrows just to give everything a bit of a glow. I also mixed it with the shade Butterscotch and just meshed the two shades together. Then I just dip my finger in that color and I pop it onto my nose, put it on top of my upper lip, and honestly, I should have taken off my lip gloss before I did this step because I ended up taking off the highlight when I took off the lip gloss, but it's fine. Then I go in with that chocolatey brown again, and this time I'm going to be using a lip pencil, and I'm just going to use that as my lip liner. Now, I do not like to overline my lips. For people who prefer it, that's fine. I'm not knocking you. I just personally don't think it looks good on me, so what I do is I just line the inside of my lips to the best of my ability. It was a little crooked there, but it's okay. It still came out bomb, so what does it matter? Okay, so after all that excessive lip smacking together, I take a berry shade in the Buxom lip gloss and I just rub it all over my lips, and then I take my Fenty gloss bomb. I know it looks bummy, but I've had it for years, so please bear with me. And I just rub it all over my lips. Make sure to coat all of the surface and make it look nice. I then take my MAC Fix Plus spray and just spray it all over. And what I do here is I take a fluffy brush and just pat that into the skin so that it soaks it up a little better and just helps it dry faster. And that's all there is to it, guys. I'm gonna insert some pictures of the makeup for you to look at. So there we have it, guys. If you like this tutorial, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!